Temp check. What kind of summer are we having this year? A family road trip summer? A beach bum summer? Or a wake me when the sun sets summer? With Instacart, choose your own adventure and skip the shopping side quests. Where available, you can get ice cream delivered to your hotel, sunscreen to the pool, or cold brew to your bed. Well, door. In as fast as 30 minutes. Wherever you find yourself this summer, you can get the goods. Download Instacart for free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum $10 per order. Excludes restaurants. Additional terms and fees apply.
In one moment, a gift most humans never receive in a lifetime.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
Starting next week, this is my segment. Bob breaks down the NFL.
No!
Jeff Lutz.
Are you kidding me? You're terrible at it.
Warning. 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
You're invited to partake of it.
Oh, gasp. I'm so excited.
Stand by for action.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome to a Monday edition, the Bob and Jeff Show, KFH Radio. Bob Lutz, Jeff Lutz with you for the next couple of hours. Here we are. Max Fire, Producing Engineering, 869-1240 is the phone number, sponsored by IHOP, the IHOP hotline. Major League Baseball draft underway. I just heard Jim Rome take a shot at it, kind of stealing my thunder.
What did he say?
I love baseball.
Well, you were the one taking shots at it yesterday. Maybe you and Jim Rome can get together.
I love Major League Baseball. I love everything about it. I always have. I always will, except the draft.
Why?
What an underwhelming presentation.
What's supposed to be overwhelming about it?
I don't think it has to be, but I also don't think you have to put it on television.
It's different. Yeah, okay, I'll go with that. You don't have to put it on TV.
So you agree with me?
No, I don't necessarily agree.
I stopped you in your tracks. It's okay. The draft is fine. That's the way you got to do it. But you don't have to televise it. It doesn't have the appeal of basketball.
One round.
Nobody knows the players, first of all.
Baseball fans do. Or they've educated themselves.
They put it in a barn in Fort Worth. With people doing, their lassoing.
Not many of the players showed up.
I don't get it. I don't understand it.
I don't know. You can watch it or not. So I enjoyed. I've never understood that take.
I enjoyed it. I watched. I didn't watch all 70 picks, but I watched all the first rounders.
Right.
I like baseball.
I watched till the Guardians.
It was not exciting. You got Greg Amsinger and Harold Reynolds waving at the crowd as he's up on the dais, and
who cares?
And some clown over there in the middle.
Some clown, the national championship winning coach.
Who was the other guy?
Dan O'Dowd and Jim Callis.
I love Jim Callis. Dan O'Dowd I could live without.
Well, he didn't do a great job, but he seemed to know what he was talking about.
Man, just
said aircraft carrier about 400 times.
Just don't televise the thing.
I don't understand that. There's so much air. It's the MLB network. What else are they going to put on during the draft other than the draft?
Well, snazz it up a little bit.
It's not a snazzy event.
Well, make it one. They tried. In their minds, they tried to make let's have some people out here with their ropes and
people out there with their
like
ropes?
cowboys and cowgirls, and
I didn't see any of that.
Fort Worth, and let's Old West it. No,
I didn't really see any of that.
Well, you weren't watching. You're on your phone half the time. You're not watching.
Of course I was watching.
No, I looked over at you. You were over here. You were on your phone all the time.
No, I wasn't.
Just completely not immersed in the.
Well, I wasn't immersed in picks 2 through 35.
Well, congratulations. Are you satisfied with?
Yeah, we've got sounds like a pretty decent haul we've gotten in the top 3-4 rounds. We're starting to go with the underslot guys here.
Cardinals just took a guy who wasn't in the top 250 with their 142nd pick. They picked a guy, and I like their first pick. I hate every other pick.
Hate?
Yeah, hate.
Strong
hate
word.
every other pick.
It's unfortunate since you don't know anything
below
about
where they were ranked.
Well, that's just a ranking now. I mean, these guys are, in high school, maybe just out of college. They've not stepped on a professional
This guy
diamond.
pitched at Oklahoma. We took a picture from Oklahoma State earlier.
Yeah, Brian Holiday. He's pretty good.
He was ranked 242. We took him 80. And now that's way too high, in my opinion.
Well, those aren't great decisions then. You're not
Every team does their own rankings. I get it.
you're not spreading the money around
These
very
are
well.
MLB pipeline rankings.
But in some cases, I mean, those rankings are loosely used to try to, hey, look what you were ranked here. We're not going to give you as much money as this slot avails itself.
I saw a friend of the show, two friends of the show. Clark Candiotti was picked in the supplemental fourth round. And last night, late in the second round, Peyton Toll out of TCU.
Well, Dylan Dreiling is a friend of the show.
And Dylan Dreiling. We've had several friends of the show get
Where did
picked.
Peyton Tolley go?
Can't remember. Is it Tolley or Toll?
Tolley.
Well, I have to look. Former Shocker. He went, let's see here. He went to
Whoever got him.
the Boston Red Sox.
Well, that's a pretty good pick for
50th
the Boston
pick.
Red Sox.
Good for him.
Great for him.
They do a good job on this MLB.com website. Maybe they should just do the draft there.
I wouldn't complain about it. Guardians are on the clock, so we'll see what happens.
We don't care.
I'm just letting everybody know.
But the honest truth is we don't care.
That's great. Do we care that Braden Davis got picked by the Cardinals? Not really, but you still mentioned it.
I didn't mention it.
Royals have seemingly had a pretty good draft.
Well, what have they done?
Twins got Kalen Culpepper. Royals got Caglione and a nice left-handed
I love
pitcher.
J.J. Weatherholt. I've done my deep dive,
Well, I could have told you that.
and the guy's just a hitter.
Yeah, you hope he stays healthy. You hope he stays maybe at shortstop, although that doesn't
Well,
necessarily
Mason
matter.
Wynn's our shortstop. He's
Fine,
not.
and he'll play second.
Yeah, he'll play second. Have some knowledge about the Cardinals. Don't
It's
roll
not
out
like
that
they're-
he's shortstop.
Well, I bet they'll send him out as a shortstop initially.
Well, he may play there in the but why? They're going to get him prepped to play second base.
Well, maybe so.
He'll play some middle infield. He'll be a
What a
guy
pick.
that. But I mean, you don't want him wasting time over at shortstop.
Yeah, the guards are going low, or high ceiling, low floor college pitchers now.
Good for them. And again, no one cares.
I care a little.
Like, why would you even say that on a Wichita radio show? What the Guardians are
Who
doing?
cares?
Right.
That's my team. That's why.
That's
I
my
think
point.
People understand why I'm talking about the Guardians.
So we played in a tournament over the weekend, and thank you and your wife for coming out yesterday morning when it was at least bearable. The second game was not. I thought
can
I was
imagine.
going to pass out. And we had fun. Our 14U team did great, League 42 I'm talking about. We won a game, then we lost in the semifinals in bracket play. And then the 12 and under team won the tournament
How about that?
out at the Southwest Boys Club. So a lot of pride, and for everyone who participated, our players, certainly our coaches, thank you for going above and beyond and being a part of all that. It was fun. We'll do it again next year, and it'll be something to look forward to,
Will
kind
you-
of an end of the season reward for some
Will you
players.
continue to coach that team, kind of like
I don't
coaching
know yet.
the Olympic team or a World Baseball? You just come in for that little group.
I've
and-
thought about it with my friend Jason Norris.
Well, we saw maybe your final victory then. If you don't decide to do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to coach in the regular season anymore. It's time to pull back just a little bit, although when I think about it, it makes me more sad than it does anything else, but that's okay.
Well, then maybe reevaluate.
No, I'm not going to. I don't think I will reevaluate. I think I've made this decision. Sometimes you decide to do things that make you sad to some degree. That's okay. That's part of it.
Who was the pitcher yesterday who mowed him down?
Yeah, Braylon.
And what's his future? Where's he
He's
going?
a Derby kid, and he's a big kid. He's been in our league for a while. he's got a chance. He throws pretty hard
Got
for
a great
14-year-old.
Got a great arm.
And we look for had he been healthy, he hadn't pitched in a month. Had a hip pointer, and that was the first time on the mound in a month.
Wow.
And he's also a very good hitter, and he's got a chance.
You guys hit the ball too.
Yeah, we got some guys.
Played a good game.
We got some guys
I
out
was
there.
not a huge fan of the other team.
Why is that?
Playing the walk-up music.
Yeah, that's the way it is in the world nowadays.
Guy gets hit in the wrist by a bat. Coaches don't even come out and check on him or anything. Say, "Are you all right?" Kids slamming their bats down. Kid walking off the mound when he's getting pulled out. I mean, coach the team. Coach a team.
Well, that's what we try to do in League 42.
Right.
I can only take care of my world.
So I was pulling for your team.
Well, I would hope you'd pull for our team.
Because your team was being coached, it looked like.
Regardless, I would hope you'd pull for our team.
Yeah, but it didn't hurt that the other team acted that way.
Well, I appreciate you coming out. We had a good time. Thanks to Scott Martin and the people at Southwest Boys Club for their hospitality, letting us get in that tournament. As I said, we'll do it again next year, and we look forward to it. And I have thought about being the coach of the
kind of the coach emeritus.
But then I want to give our other coaches the opportunity too.
Well, you can come in and supervise. You're kind of overseeing the process anyway, kind of sitting on the bucket, kind of just pulling strings a little bit.
Yeah, you noticed that, huh?
You're kind of the CEO of the
you
operation.
Saw me pull some strings.
I don't know about that. It's first phrase that came into mind.
Well, we had some great leadership.
Yeah.
Me,
Those other coaches were doing a lot too.
Yeah, no question. What'd they do? Oh, just kidding.
Know. They look
completely kidding. We're going to play the Bob and Jeff Draft a little bit later in the show. We've got maybe the slowest day in the calendar year for sports. The Home Run Derby is tonight. I could not care less. Again, big baseball guy, that has come and gone.
I'm not a home run derby guy
myself. The time for the
myself.
home run derby has passed.
Even though Jose Ramirez is in it, great. Hope he does well. Probably not going to watch it.
Just don't get it anymore. Unless Aaron Judge is in it, unless you have your most prolific home run hitters.
Well, Pete Alonso's in it. There's some guys who can
that Pete Alonso.
hit the ball a long way.
Come on. Alec Boehm, I love him. I love the kid. He's a great kid. But, I mean, come on.
He'll probably do pretty well.
Well, listen, he's, as Ted Woodward said in our sports report, he's the lowest odds to win it. You going to bet on him?
Probably not. But
how would you bet if you had to?
I'd go to FanDuel and place.
And how would you do that bet?
What do you mean?
Well, you're the FanDuel guy. How would I do that?
You just bet. You'd make your bet.
Well, but what link do I go to?
You can go to FanDuel.com/Lutz.
And then what?
To sign up. Or if you already have a FanDuel account, just go.
What if I don't?
Then make one. That's what I just said.
Well, then how do I do that? What link do I?
I just told you.
Where does that take me?
Takes you to the sign-up page.
Is there a fee involved?
No, goodness, no.
Like you're on
a fee.
Like you're on FanDuel a whole
I
bunch.
couldn't spend more time on FanDuel.
Whatever.
What an app. What a site.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So I got to figure out something to do tonight because our season is now officially over. We've got our season celebration coming up this weekend. But I got to figure out, do my wife and I go out to dinner tonight? What do we do?
On a Monday?
Sure.
Where would you go?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I better check the specials at Leakers, hadn't I?
Is that going out to eat in your estimation?
That is.
So you're going to go pick something up to eat.
It's kind of going out to eat. But it's it's going out to get food to eat. They've got lasagna, brats and kraut, and scalloped potatoes with ham. Any of that appeal to you?
I like scalloped potatoes.
What about lasagna?
I don't know if I want to get lasagna from a grocery store, but
It's good.
I'm sure it's wonderful.
It's good. I've had it before. And the Bratzenkraut is appealing as well. Because I like sauerkraut. Isn't that weird? Who would have thought that me, picky eater than I am, would like sauerkraut?
I don't know. I don't know what it tastes like, so I can't really evaluate that.
I think you'd like it.
It smells terrible.
It doesn't smell good. And it's shocking to me that I do like it.
I don't think the texture.
And I can't believe I ever. What was the first time I ate it? What made me say,
What did you
okay,
have
I'll
it
try
on?
it?
What did you have it on?
Same thing, brats. My
Okay.
mother made it.
So you've liked it for a long time. This isn't a new discovery.
No, this isn't a new discovery. My mother made it, and I think she did it mostly with hot dogs, although there were probably brats.
Sure. More common on brats, I'd say.
But my dad loved that dish, and for whatever reason, that certainly wasn't a prerequisite for me to like something just because my dad did. In fact, that was a rare occurrence. But for some reason,
Were you like that?
I said, I'm going to try the brat and the kraut and see what I think. And I loved it. And now the more I talk about it, the more I'm running to Leakers after
Then
this.
you better go get in line.
Would you eat sauerkraut?
I'd probably try it, but is it? Am I going to go rush out to Leakers to?
It's making me hungry thinking
it?
about it.
No, I'm not. I don't know what I'll do for dinner. We've got cans of stew that are pretty good.
Cans of stew?
Yeah,
Well, whatever. You're picky too.
for the most part.
Cans of stew. I've never heard of such a thing.
You have cans of soup, right?
Yeah, I have cans of
Oh, this
soup.
is a little
I
bit
don't
thicker.
usually eat cans of soup, but
What are
too
all
much
those cans of
sodium.
soup in your?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't eat them.
Okay, I guess not.
That's not something that I'd normally, although there's been times where I get into that.
Yeah, they do
not-
have too much sodium, and I've tried soups no sodium. They're awful. So I don't know
never
what to
use
do.
a salt shaker on anything, on any dish, ever. You don't need to. If you do, you're crazy because there's so much salt in everything that why would you add salt?
Right, I only use salt to cook.
Now, pepper, I shake like it's going out of style.
Is there salt in pepper?
I don't think so.
Seems like there would be, right?
Why?
I don't know. Isn't there salt in the actual vegetable?
Well, I don't think,
of
no,
pepper?
but I don't think if you look up the ingredients of pepper, I don't think you're going to see salt as one of them.
Well, now I'm going to check.
In fact, I think pepper's just pepper.
That's probably true, but it's something that you don't hear asked very often, and maybe that's just because it's so obvious. Why would anyone ask that? Is there salt in pepper? Black pepper contains sodium, but not as much as salt. Well, that makes sense.
What else is pepper made of? Just say what are the ingredients in pepper.
Well, I'm about to.
Don't you have Siri on your phone?
Carbohydrates, proteins, fiber, moisture, fat, and minerals.
All that's in
Main
pepper?
active ingredient is piperine, which gives black pepper its heat and a complex flavor profile. Alkaloids, antioxidants, flavonoids, and essential oils.
I think pepper
It's
is
in black pepper.
I couldn't live without pepper. I put it on everything. Now, does that mean it's just a substitute for salt if it has sodium in it?
Basically.
But I like pepper. I like
What
the way
is
it
the difference
tastes.
between salt and sodium?
I don't know. I like the way pepper tastes. Don't you?
It's all right.
I put it on everything.
I mean, I use it to cook, but I don't use it to where it's an overwhelming flavor in my dish.
I don't know, man. You tell me. Give me something. I'll tell you whether I put pepper on.
Chicken.
Yes. Next.
Spaghetti.
Yes.
Really?
Of course.
That's bizarre.
Well, the meat sauce. Nobody eats just plain spaghetti.
What do you mean? Spaghetti and meatballs. Or
Well,
spaghetti
sure.
and everybody knows what spaghetti means when I say spaghetti.
Well, yeah, we don't just eat raw spaghetti.
No one thinks that.
with salt, with pepper. So, yeah, I put it on there. I also fry up some hamburger.
Obviously, steak, you put pepper on, I'm sure.
You know, that's the one thing I may not put pepper.
Really?
No, I ground. If they have the ground pepper, one of those,
Yeah, but that's essentially what pepper is.
then I really like that.
Grounds of pepper.
Salad, put pepper on. Pizza, I don't. There's something.
Nor should you.
I don't shake pepper on pizza.
No, I don't know anyone who would.
You'd be crazy
That
to do
seems insane.
that. Pizza's already loaded with flavor and
Exactly.
spice.
Pizza does not need much improvement from what it comes out of the oven as.
My wife brought home Pizza John's the other night.
Is that what I had yesterday?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
You didn't like it?
I love Pizza John's, but I guess maybe the warm-up factor isn't.
You didn't like it?
It was fine. Again, I like Pizza John's. I like going to Pizza John's. It's fantastic.
When's the last time you went to Pizza John's in Derby?
Last year, maybe earlier this year. Oh, it was earlier this year.
Have I
'cause
told you my Pizza
It
John's?
was when I went to Joanna Chadwick's classroom.
I got some Pizza John's stories. Would you like to hear them?
Not really. Yes, maybe a Pizza John's gift card. Then yeah, I'd like to.
Our listeners would love to hear them, and I'll tell you a couple of them when we come back from the break.
You think you'll forget?
Nope.
Too bad.
Pizza John's. Put it in my brain. Pizza John's. Tell the stories.
Ziggy's.
Pizza John's. I'm going to tell the Pizza John's stories after the break. Max Power in the East Wichita studio, manning the controls. Stay with us.
Temp check. What kind of summer are we having this year? A family road trip summer? A beach bum summer? Or a wake me when the sun sets summer? With Instacart, choose your own adventure and skip the shopping side quests. Where available, you can get ice cream delivered to your hotel, sunscreen to the pool, or cold brew to your bed. Well, door. In as fast as 30 minutes. Wherever you find yourself this summer, you can get the goods. Download Instacart for free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum $10 per order. Excludes restaurants. Additional terms and fees apply.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show.
So I told you I was going to tell you some Pizza John's stories.
I'll miss those. You can miss me.
Why
with
aren't you
those.
curious about your father? I would have given anything for my dad to tell me stories.
Because these are going to be embellished, and it's not going to be any real insight into you with these stories. I don't think.
It was a big deal in 1969 when that place opened. I remember we went there. It was exciting. We looked forward to it, my dad, mom, and me. And we were there, I don't know, probably not opening night, but pretty early on in its existence, we were there.
Sure.
It's been in the same spot
I'd expect Derbyites to
for
go to a new
55
restaurant.
years. Isn't that something?
Well, it's something, but it's not surprising because of the quality of the pizza.
55 years it's been there. Now, do you want to hear some other stories?
Well,
I don't know why.
go for it.
I got to know the guys that ran it. They were great guys. Now, I was dismissed from Pizza John's in my youth.
Permanently?
No, obviously not. Got back in.
Now, that would have been a story.
I was told not to come back at one point. But those
For doing what? Yeah, leave it to Bob, Mr. Derby, to disrespect everyone and everything in Derby.
you sound like such a
I was an a-hole to my
do-gooder.
teachers. I treated local businesses poorly. But good representation.
I'm not proud of it.
Nor should you be.
I will say that when I worked at the Daily Reporter, and my wife is upstairs, and she's listening, and she'll be okay with this.
What'd you do, throw a brick through
She'll be okay with this story. There was a young woman by the name of Lynn Crosby who worked at Pizza John's, and often I would be working nights at the Daily Reporter because that's kind of when I worked since I was going to school during the day. That makes sense, right?
Sure.
So I would work over there, and Just it's across the street, so I'd run over across the street and maybe order some food, but it was mostly just to talk to Lynn.
Yeah, I'm sure your wife would be fine with you reminiscing about a 55-year-old crush.
Why would my wife object to that?
Why do you need to carry that around?
What do you mean carry it around?
Why do you need to? Hey, I really
It's
enjoyed.
a memory I have.
I
of
really
Pizza
enjoyed
John.
talking to Lynn.
I did.
No, forget about it. Lynn is in your distant past.
Why would I forget
Move
about
on. I don't know. Why wouldn't you?
it? I don't know. It's just we're talking about songs from the summer of '74. Makes me harken back to that stuff.
Haven't we done that theme or some version of it every week on this show?
No,
Pretty
Max
much.
and I will.
Summer songs from
Max and I keep track.
Summer songs from 1974, question songs from 1974. How about a summer song from 2018? Let's just
Yeah, we'll do that one of these days.
mix that in once in a while.
Here's where our listeners have come to appreciate this show. We're consistent. We're going to give you what you want to hear in terms of music. There's not a clamoring for songs from 2018.
That's a self-fulfilling prophecy, though.
There is no question that my target audience is
There
50 and above.
There are two people
40
on
and
this
above.
show. 80 and above, between 60 and 80.
Between 40 and 70. And those are the people and if you're older than 70, listen, I love having you here.
I'd like to hear from our friend Max, not our producer Max.
Here's what Max will say.
Can I finish the thought? He just had a child. I'd like to know how he and his new young family are doing, how that's going for everybody.
I don't care about it. Here's what he'll say about the show. And listen, we're fine that Max has a child.
Here's something interesting. Caden Favors just selected
By the Cardinals.
by the Cleveland Guardians.
Really?
Yes.
Are you happy with that?
Sure, why not?
Caden Favors from Wichita State. Not ranked amongst the top 250 prospects.
Well, I got him 249.
Nor was the Cardinals pick, catcher Josh Cross. That's two catchers they've taken
what are you
in the
doing?
first 6 rounds. I don't know what they're doing. I can't figure them out. They got catching depth. What are they doing?
I don't know.
They don't need all these catchers. Maybe they see that no other teams have catching depth, so they're just going to load up and trade a bunch of these people.
Well, we don't even know.
Because you got to have a good catcher.
Doesn't hurt.
I don't know. Every time I see a pick now, I'm getting depressed.
Don't get depressed. We're late in the
We'll get
process.
Jim Callis on the show next week and see if he can build up my hope. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel. How do you feel about Caden Favors?
Nice pitcher. Hope he succeeds. Like I said, the Guardians seem to be going for the underslot guys because they use their overslot money on a couple of high school pitchers. Well,
the Cardinals haven't picked a high school player yet. They got a catcher from Cincinnati. Are you kidding me?
It's a Big 12 guy. Cincinnati.
Well, that's the third Big 12 guy they've picked.
Cincinnati has a baseball program. I was kind of shocked.
Of course they do.
Has anybody important ever come out of the university?
Boy, I wish I was younger because there's been a few, and I can't think of them now.
Well, I guess we can always check that out.
But Cincinnati's had decent baseball.
I
at
guess I
points
believe
in time. Are you done? Have you heard enough of my Pizza
that.
John's reminiscing?
I think so.
Do people like that when I reminisce?
If you have to ask, I think you know the answer.
What do you think? Do you like it
Yeah, that's
secretly, deep down?
It's fine, I guess. I mean, it's not.
My dad
It's not a
was
show
a
killer. If
great
that's what
man.
you're asking.
My dad was a great man.
Of course he was.
I miss him every day. But he never, well, never's too strong a word. He never sat me down and told me stories of his youth. Outside of one thing, he was proud that one of his best friends growing up in Winfield was Ernie Schmidt. Ernie, a Hall of Fame, Kansas.
By the way,
Hall of Fame.
I'm going to interrupt you only because
No, I don't interrupt me.
No, because somebody out there, one of your 80-year-olds, is screaming at the radio. Sandy Koufax went to the University of Cincinnati.
Right.
So that's
You sound like a moron
yeah.
again.
So I want to clear that all up and continue your story.
Did somebody text you?
No, I looked it up.
I could. That's the one I was thinking of, and I couldn't come up with.
There are 5 players in the history of Cincinnati to make a big league all-star team: Sandy Koufax, Kevin Youkilis, Josh Harrison, Ed Brinkman, and Ian Happ.
I can tell you a story about all of them.
Ed Brinkman, give me an Ed Brinkman
Brinkman.
story.
Washington Senators. Couldn't hit. But one of those guys that was
Played forever.
Yeah, one of those guys that was a good infielder. But he wasn't ever much of a hitter. And in that era when Ed Brinkman played, all you wanted from a shortstop was to be able to catch it.
Right. And
There
nobody
were a
really
There were
knew.
a bunch of shortstops who just couldn't hit.
That's all the shortstop position essentially was at that time. Just light-hitting guys who could maybe field, maybe throw. We didn't really know at the time.
Right.
But they got the job done.
But Eddie Brinkman was a good Major League Baseball player.
And in fact was one of the great defensive players of his era.
What did I just say?
You said, you didn't go that far with
Of
it.
course I did.
He led the league. He didn't have the stat then, but in defensive WAR twice, and racked up 20 defensive WAR
Eddie
over his
Brinkman,
career.
he couldn't move to save his life, but everything hit at him, he caught.
Well, he must have been able to
He
move
had
pretty
okay
well.
range, but he wasn't a fleet guy. There you go to your phone again.
That was
Check. You're like,
How many steals did
when
he
am
have?
I ever wrong?
Well,
It's just
if he's that
astounding.
good defensively, he's got to have range.
But a lot of shortstops didn't run well. Dal Maxfield wasn't a fleet guy. Keep naming them. Ray Euler couldn't run.
Dick Groat.
Dick Tracewski couldn't run.
I don't think that's a real person.
Dick Groat wasn't fast. Now Dick Groat could hit though.
A little bit.
Now not a little bit. He was a very good hitter. So Eddie Brinkman wasn't a runner. He was slow of foot, in fact.
Well, there you go. There you have it.
Well, no, you've seen it. Now tell the listeners, because you're going to double check everything I
What
say.
am I going to double check?
How many stolen bases did he have in his career?
At least 30.
How many did he have?
30.
Over how many years?
He played a little bit. He didn't get on base much, so how are you going to have a whole lot of stolen bases? Probably hit at the bottom of the order. You got your
Do you
pitcher
ever
up.
think to yourself?
No reason for him to steal
Do
bases.
you ever think to yourself, my dad knows more baseball than anybody I've talked to,
No.
and I should stop questioning him?
No, never. I'm sure there was plenty of reasons why he didn't steal bases. That's what I go to.
Well, one is the fact that let me guess his career batting average. I'll say 217.
Who are we talking about
Eddie
again?
Brinkman. I'll say 217.
224.
Very close. Let me guess his number of career home runs. How many at-bats did he have?
He came to the plate 6,642 times.
So basically 11 seasons. Over 11 full seasons, how many home runs would Eddie Brinkman have? Now, he hit more than you might imagine. So I'm going to say he finished his career with 65 home runs.
Hey, he should have just stuck with 60.
How many?
60.
Okay.
14 one year for the Tigers.
Right. What'd I just say?
Nothing. You didn't say
I
that.
said he hit some home runs.
He didn't get on base. 280, 300 career
Yeah, he wasn't a good offensive player.
OPS plus of 65.
He was. This is all we've talked about.
See, you know why he had 44 intentional walks?
Because he batted eighth in front of the pitcher.
Exactly. So why would he steal bases?
Tomorrow on the show, Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyway? He's coming to the Orpheum with Brad Sherwood, and we'll talk with Colin Mockery, longtime improv comedian.
Yes, he is. That's an art
Be an
form.
interesting conversation.
That's an art form that I'm not sure I could ever really figure out. Probably could if I like dedicated my life
Well,
to
I
it.
can give you some tips if you're ever interested.
We kind of do. Let's do a scene right now.
No, I don't want to do a scene. I do improv every day on this show.
You know what? No, you don't, because I just asked you to do a scene, and the immediate answer in improv is what? Yes. You
No,
said
the immediate answer in my improv.
You said no.
Is no. I do it every day on this show,
Well, then that's not improv.
and I do it with. You've seen me do it many times with Ted Woodward.
No, I haven't.
What do you mean you
I've seen
haven't?
you do it once with Ted Woodward many times.
You know, when Ted Woodward and I get together, and
It's the same shtick, which is fine. It's a decent shtick, but don't act like this is some ongoing
if you put us in any setting, the reason it's the same shtick is because when you see us, when you have seen us in the past, we've been at Shocker basketball games.
Right. I don't think it's any different
So
anywhere
that
else.
Shtick is it reflects our surroundings.
I mean, Ted is funny. He must. I don't know. I just assume, like Steve Martin and Martin Short, probably would want to have been surrounded by funny people, but he got you, and that's.
Ted, call the show 869-1240 if you're listening, and I know you do, and I know it's not to hear Jeff. What?
He
It's the
texts
truth.
me during the show.
It's the
Does
truth.
he ever text you during
Of course
the
he
show?
does.
Never.
Many times.
I think-
Often.
I think it's usually to commend and laud my funniness.
By the way, congratulations to Odyssey's very own Steve McIntosh, today celebrating his 54th year on Wichita radio.
Amazing.
That's something to be celebrated and commended and mentioned. And Mac, that's incredible. And no signs of slowing down.
Doesn't
Steve
look
and
like
Ted
it.
show every morning on our sister station, KNSS. I can't imagine it. I thought 43 years in the newspaper game was a long time.
It was. He's going even longer.
I just 54 years. How old was he when he started?
Probably 1920.
Well, good
I
for
would
him.
guess. You could do that back in the day. Not that you can't start a radio career at 20 now, but you might not have the same immediate opportunities.
Well, we had, it's been very interesting growing up and living in the same community all my life because I've gotten to hear all these people, all these radio and TV and newspaper people that have come through and at least for a pit stop in Wichita and often a lot more than that. And so all those legends come to mind. And it leads me to think we should do that today for the Bob and Jeff Draft.
What are we doing?
Wichita Electronic Media Legends.
That's not going to do anything
I
for
like it.
anybody.
I think it does.
It doesn't, and that's mean to. And then we'll leave somebody out. And
So what?
I don't like that. That's not. Your heart's in the right place.
I think
but
it's a great
the
category.
execution of it.
Max,
by the
get
way,
on with us. What do you think of
by
that
the way,
category?
Steve, of course he's
As
going to suck
someone
up
who's
to
not
you.
from Wichita,
Steve McIntosh, 74 years old, by the
do you
way.
like the idea, Max?
Too niche.
Every time I try to go,
It's not
Yeah,
a bad
Max, there
idea.
you
It's
go,
just that
exactly.
I wouldn't know how to judge that since I wouldn't
No,
know
you
anybody
wouldn't
outside
because
of
you haven't
Steve
been
Mack.
here
Nor
long.
would anyone else.
What do you mean? My crowd would. All right, let's just name a few.
Okay.
We won't. It's not a Bob and Jeff draft.
Jack Oliver.
Jack Oliver. That's a good one. Let me write these down. Now, this is electronic media, not necessarily just radio.
What else is there?
Okay?
TV?
Sure.
Okay.
And it
Merrill
doesn't.
Teller.
Now they're it's my turn.
I thought it wasn't a draft.
Now, electronic media today could include print people too, because that's
Yeah, I'm going to leave them out.
we're going to leave print people out.
No offense.
What do you mean, no offense?
No
To
offense
me
to
or to print people?
To print people. They're going to be left out.
Jack Oliver, your number one pick.
That's not a pick. That's just someone I
I'm
named.
going to write it down here informally. So it's my pick.
No. It's,
I would go with Let me think here for a second.
Well, you don't have to think because this isn't a ranking or a draft. You can literally name anyone you want.
I'll go with Cindy Close.
Yeah, we should
I hope
probably.
she's listening, and I get, that's a very nice gesture by
We should
me.
probably name all those Channel 12 people. Meryl Teller.
Oh, who's
Roger-
your next pick?
Roger Cornish.
Who's your next pick?
I'm not picking.
Now, who would you next say? This isn't a draft.
Then quit making it sound
I'm
like
not
one.
making it sound like one.
I picked my boy Merrill.
Meryl Teller. Good pick. I mean, you can't go wrong picking Meryl Teller.
He's been on this show before, as has,
Sure
I
he
believe,
has.
Cindy Close, as has Jack Oliver.
I have no problems with Meryl Teller. And again, we're not picking. This is not a Bob and Jeff draft.
It is not.
Who's your next pick? I would go with.
You're not going with anybody. You're mentioning names of people in the media that you admire. We're not talking about their talent level, their skills, their even what they even mean to Wichita as a whole.
I'll go with my friend Roger Cornish. The late Roger Cornish. I believe he and I did one of these shows together back in the day where he was my co-host, not the Bob and Jeff show, but Sports Daily.
Sounds like it could have happened.
And Roger and I clicked for whatever reason.
Contemporaries.
You want me to pick another one?
No, I don't, because this isn't a draft.
Who you going with?
And I like to think Greg the Hitman Williams has made a pretty big impact on the city of Wichita.
The Hitman, right here from Power 93.
Yeah, old KKRD. He's a Wichita guy, born and raised.
Yeah, I'll go with in that same vein, the late Danson Don Hall.
Another old KKRD guy who had been around.
Yeah.
Future Bob is on the air or is on hold.
Well, hold on, Bob.
He probably wants to name guys
Hold on, Bob. I'm in the middle of a draft.
But he's going to make the same picks you are because he is you.
Hold on, Bob.
We're not drafting.
Let's go. Give me one more pick before I go to Bob.
Susan Peters.
Susan Peters gets the nod. Of course, I go back a long way.
I want Larry Hatterberg too.
Well, no, you can't have Larry Hatterberg.
That's both.
That was going to be my next pick. Larry Hatterberg. And these aren't picks necessarily. This isn't
Then why are you writing them
formal
down?
draft.
Let's get to future Bob.
Let's see what Bob has. Hello, Bob.
Hey. Yeah, Cecil Carrier, the weatherman, Channel 3, and I think he did it on KFH.
That's a good
Do you
one.
remember him?
Oh, of course. There's no one I don't remember.
Oh, okay. And his daughter.
That's a good one, Bob.
Carrier. And then there was
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Kathy Carrier.
Those are good picks.
Did it for a long time.
Sure, she did.
Before you go,
Cambridge,
Bob.
Go
Jeff,
ahead.
Apparently, Jeff has something to say to you. Do you mind lowering your standards and talking with Jeff for a moment?
It doesn't have to be right this second. You can.
Okay, go, Jeff.
You can continue.
He's willing to entertain what you have to say.
I understand that. That's why I was going to talk. You can continue spinning your yarns about old-timey media personalities, but before you go, can you just let Bob know what his next 6 months or a year are going to be like? Since you are him.
Well, not really. I'm no future teller. I just don't look into the future very far.
Just play along,
Well,
future Bob.
Let me tell you what. If I have a 6 months like that, I'll be pleased.
Oh, okay.
Bob, why do you call this show? Is it to talk to me or to talk to Jeff, or what is your motivation?
All of you. Pretty funny guys.
All right, Bob, we love you. Thank you for calling.
One other thing. Cecil Carey, he was from Cambridge, Kansas.
Yeah, over in isn't that over in Kingman or Reno County?
No.
One of those two.
No, Cali County, east of Burden, yet
Cali
County. My
dang it! I think I knew
dad
that.
and his brothers and one sister were born over in Chautauqua County. So okay, well, thanks.
Good stuff. See, that's the kind of thank you, Bob. That's the kind of institutional knowledge that only people of Bob's ilk can share.
You think so?
Yeah, you don't know any of that.
Well, he did kind of explain what your future would be like, because now you are going to learn, apparently, that Greenwich, or whatever he said, is in Harvey County. I don't know what he said.
Who's your next pick?
I'm not picking.
Okay, I'll pick. I've got Cindy Close, Roger Cornish, Don Hall, Larry Hatteberg.
I'm not picking. I'm mentioning.
I'm going to go with Gus Grebe.
It doesn't really count.
He worked at Channel 12 forever. Sports director. Why wouldn't it count?
I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it should count.
Why?
Just doesn't seem like it should count.
He was the voice of the Shockers.
Right. I got Mike Kennedy.
Well, there you go. Mike Kennedy. What took you so long?
But I'm not drafting. I'm mentioning. This isn't. I don't want Mike Kennedy to be listening and say, well, they only picked me fifth.
Mike,
no.
you were picked fifth.
We're mentioning.
Handle it.
And this isn't a draft.
Handle it. And I'm not here to soothe feelings.
You should.
Somebody
You're not? I'll remember that.
Somebody gets their feelings hurt by a Bob and Jeff draft, then that's on them.
This isn't a draft. So
my sixth pick.
A draft, it would have been Snake, and we would have
my sixth pick.
Followed the rules.
All-time Wichita Electronic Media, the category.
I'm bowing out of this conversation. I'm done.
Number 6 for me. Boy, that gets tough. I'm going to go way back to my, I wouldn't say friend, but I did get to know him a little bit. Greg Gamer, former
Never heard
news
of him.
anchor at KSN. How about that?
Great.
Not a bad one. And wouldn't you have to look at at another weather person?
Jimmy O?
Perhaps. Or what about Dave Freeman?
Who?
What?
Not familiar.
Why'd you say that? Just because he doesn't work at, neither did Jimmy O.
I know, but that's a little farther back to where I don't feel the ownership.
Cecil Carrier is a good one.
Well, your future guy mentioned him.
He sure did.
Obviously, because now you're taking him 2 rounds later. It all adds up. That is future Bob.
All right, time for a break.
Are we not finishing this draft?
Well, I'll finish it when I come back. I thought you said it wasn't a draft.
I'll have to think about it.
It's a fun draft.
It's all right.
Boy, there's all kinds of people jumping through my head.
Is that right?
What about? Nobody's taking. I'll go ahead and take Steve McIntosh. How'd we let him linger that long? What do you mean, eh? We'll be back.